One of those players is a man who was here last year, as I said earlier, with Cloud9 and had a very disappointing international. This time round, only one thing is on his mind. He caught up with Casey a little earlier on.
Okay, so I guess the first question is, how did OG come together after TI5 last year?
After TI5 last year, me and Tal, we were talking some. We weren't really sure what we were going to do. I was having all kinds of thoughts whether or not I wanted to play, and if I wanted to play, what I wanted to do. And Tal was the first big factor for me. He was not sure if he was going to, try something new, try some other people. And if I wanted to play with him, that's only two people, and that doesn't really make a team. So we were talking for a while. I decided I'm going to try to build something, see what I can actually do. So even at the airport in Seattle, I contacted Miracle, tried to get his contact information. Started having these thoughts. Who do I want to play with? How do we make this come together? I ended up talking to Miracle. Tal would be talking to Moon. I kept talking with Tal, and we kind of set a basis, like if we want to make something, these four could be a great start. And finally we agreed on Crit. I was pushing very hard to Tal, like we should really try this guy. He's always been good on every team he's been on, and everybody was down, everybody was in, and we kind of went with it. Became monkey business a couple of weeks after TI.
And how did your play with Tal when you guys were together at TI3 with Fnatic? How did that convince you that this was somebody that you wanted to play with again?
I mean, Tal and me, we go way back. He was my first teammate in the competitive scene back when we played Heroes of New Earth. I've known him since I was 14 years old, so play-wise, human-wise, I mean, I know him very well. I think more than anyone else knows him in terms of players knowing him. Playing with Tal, I kind of feel like that's the thing I'm going to be doing until I retire or he retires. Time will tell, but me and him, we get along very well.
How important is that when you're building a team? Not just, obviously you're looking at the different kinds of talent that you're bringing together, but when you're looking at the personalities and how you actually get along in real life, how important is that?
For me, obviously depends on who you ask, but for me, I feel this foundation is way better to build on than one guy trying to bring everyone in than having two guys trying to bring people together.
I'd like to ask you if you could just think of a phrase or a word that best describes each of your teammates. We'll start with Tal since we've been talking about him a little bit already.
Strong.
Strong.
Tal is strong, yes. Amir would be focused. It would be very focused. And Moon would be funny. Moon would be very funny. And Crit would be mature. He would be very mature. It's a lot of words to describe these guys, but chalking it down to a couple, that would be my choices.
It sounds like you have a lot of respect for your teammates.
I hope it goes both ways. I think respect's very important in any relationship. Respect and trust is why I think this, the team, the trust and respect can come from a long relationship, but it has to be in the foundation. It has to be there from the beginning. And I hope that everyone in my team, but also people that want to play Dota and play these team games, value these assets. Playing this kind of team game, you say it's a video game, you can say that all you need is logic and skill, but I think that Dota is 80% something that's outside the game. 20% is just the game, how you play and whatever. 80% is actually the whole team aspect and human aspect.
Do you focus on each game one at a time pretty well, or are you constantly thinking a few games ahead, a few matches ahead?
I think the best habit you can have is to focus on every game. Every game is what really matters. I do think that that's the approach that you need to have, because Dota, as much as it is about strategy and skill, and maybe you want to hide a strat for the finals, stuff like this, if you lose focus for 1 second, 1 second can mean the game and it can mean the whole tournament. Just 1 second, that's the real-time strategy.
What would it mean to put your name on that?
A lot. It's been the goal I've set for the last 3 years. And this year, I've done everything to achieve it. I can't say that I've done my very best the other 2 years. A couple of regrets, but this year I have no regrets of the choices I made. And I do hope that I'm gonna reap the rewards this time.
Notail.